Howdy there, folks. This is Jesse Ariano, Makwawit Man, bringing you episode number 4 of Dreamtime with Jesse. Now, today is going to need a little bit of background for you to really understand the message, I think. So let's just get into it. First and foremost, you gotta know that back in the early 2000s when I was just a youngin', we used to work at these apartments called Orem Square. We did a lot of work on pretty much all of the units and a little bit exterior, but anyway, point is I spent a lot of time there as a child, and I always imagined that if I were to live in an apartment, that's where I would live. Like this building, the rooms, something about them, they just had this vibe, that really attracted me. Not to mention, as the name might imply, the building was a big square with a courtyard right in the middle, and the way the sunlight would stream into it, it was all very magical for a 5-year-old me, Not to mention it was like right there on Skillman Street, close to the Pizza Hut, which at the time, pizza was the shit, man. I just discovered it not that long ago and I thought it was amazing. So, anyway, that's the first bit of knowledge you need to know. And the second one, I guess I gotta introduce you to my second not so evil but slightly fucked up ex-girlfriend, Veronica, who I didn't actually want to date her. This was not too long after the last girl, so to say the least, I was very reluctant about getting into another romantic relationship. You know what they say, once bitten, twice shy. I was not really sure I wanted to deal with the possible pain of love. The weight of love. So, yeah, I kind of I didn't want to do it. But as the universe would have it, she kept popping up in my life in places where I had previously not seen her pop up. I don't know if that was because she made a conscious effort to be there, or if it was purely coincidental, but, yeah, due to the amount of times that it happened and just proximity between me and her, eventually she wore me down and I agreed to date her. As if it was such a bad thing to date a pretty girl who was smart and funny. But, yeah, so she was one of those girls that you would see her in her everyday life and you would think, oh wow, what a sweet girl. A very normal, innocent looking girl. Then you get to know her and you find out she's one of those people who likes to get beat and slapped and choked and shit. And I was never really into that because, it kind of goes against how I was brought up. So on that front, there's your first problem right there. And she wanted to be a lawyer, and she was gonna go to some college out of state. So there's a pretty good likelihood that our relationship would most likely not endure the strain, you know? Considering, I hate to say it, but it was a love-hate kind of deal. There would be days where we'd argue about all kinds of dumb shit, and there would be other days where, the sky would be blue, the grass would be green, the sunlight would hit her hair in such a way that it would give it a brownish, reddish glow, and she'd smile at me so sweetly with this look of admiration in her eyes, and I'd say, hell yeah, I love that girl, you know? But, I can't really say that I could see it working out for us. So at a certain point, she confronted me about the direction of our relationship, and I told her with all honesty, that I didn't think it would work out in the long run. And she looks at me with these big old sad eyes. And she says, "Are you sure?" And I kind of gotta look away because I know I'll be sucked back in by her cuteness. And I say, "Yeah, I'm sure." That was the last nail in the coffin right there. And I've never seen her again. Okay, so this is the dream. In this dream, I'm apparently living at Orem Square Apartments, and I'm walking down the hall to my apartment, which, strangely enough, is the only apartment with a red door. All the other ones are like this brownish black color. And in that hall, next to my door, there's like 11 billion plants. I guess I never gave up on gardening. And there's a very girly welcome mat out front, which lets me know that there's a lady living there. So I walk in, and it smells real good. It's one of those dreams where the smells, the sights, the tastes are all very vivid. And it smells good like meat cooking, you know? I walk in, and the apartment itself, it's furnished in exactly the way that I would furnish an apartment, you know? It's got all the things that I would put in it. It's my quote unquote dream apartment, you know? And I walk in and I look over to the kitchen area, and what do you know? There's Veronica looking fine as fuck. And she's cooking fajitas and chopping bell peppers. And she's got these really pointy canine teeth, and she smiles at me. And anytime she would smile, one of them would poke out. And I just thought that was really adorable. There's just something about girls with pointy teeth that I find very attractive. Anyway, so I walk over to her, but yeah, she just like gives me this smile, and you can see there's just so much love in her eyes. And I walk over there, and I open my mouth to speak, but it sounds like the adults in Charlie Brown, you know? It's just gibberish. And she replies back in the gibberish. I don't know what they're saying, but they start making out. Didn't take long to see it was going that direction. And yeah, as they do, it kind of pans away like an old timey movie, you know, during sex scenes. And yeah, it fades to black. It's later that night. Don't ask me how I know, I just know. And we're arguing about something. What? I don't know. I don't speak Charlie Brown adult. But I can tell that it's something that she's picking a bone with me about something. It's not my argument, you know? Boy, she sure did go into the right line of work, wanting to be a lawyer and shit. She could argue with the best of them. Anyway, yeah, so in that dream, she's like yelling and throwing a fit and shit. So I shit you not, I just walk away and I walk out of my apartment, you know, get a breath of fresh air, walk around the block, and yeah, that's the end of the dream. I guess you could say that the message from this dream was that I was thinking about what my life could have been like if I had decided to stick around with her. Which would not be surprising considering, you know, in my first year of being out of high school, I'm actually like living the choices that I've made, you know? Like I knew that not going to college and choosing to be a urban farming art making dreams of motor horse building guy was going to be pretty difficult. But it's one thing to know what to expect and another thing to actually experience it. Now I'm not saying that like I made a bad choice or that I regret it or anything like that. If I had the chance, I would do it again. And do you know why? It's because I don't fold to the will of others. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it my way. Unless, of course, there's like a better way to do it. But even so, I won't do it the way that someone is forcing me to do it. Because I don't like that. I'm very stubborn. But yeah, so I guess subconsciously, like, my doubts have been floating around. And, like, it's hard, man. It's hard, like, doing this fucking job, and, like, you're, like, real slagged when you get home, and all your creativity is just drained out of you. So it's, like, pretty hard to come up with, like, some artistic shit on demand. But the good thing I've come to find is that I get a lot of my inspiration from my dreams, which is good, because, I don't actually have to think about anything. Spaghetti just gets thrown at the wall from my brain, and I say, oh yeah, that looks good, and I just had to remember it till morning. I write it down in my notes section for future use, and boom, bang, boom, baby. I got ideas. But, yeah, folks, that's all for today. That's all I got for you. This is your host, Jesse Ariano, Makwawit Man, signing out. Y'all take care of yourselves now.